What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of BOP. This is your boy AD in the building. We got Bab in the building. We got a special guest, Jules. Y'all know him as St. John on Twitter, Texans Twitter. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good, man. Good.
Doing well.
That's what's up. Now, what we about to talk about now is that good old. Let me get a rundown of what we're gonna do today. Let's talk about the transactions for the Texans and everything that's going on with the Texans, and then we're gonna go right into the predictions and expectations for the second preseason game against the Los Angeles Rams on Friday. I think is what day is that? August 20th. Yeah, August 21st. I think it is 20th or 21st. One of those days. It's Friday. So let's talk about the news of the day. And it was cut day today. Tuesday, the 16th was the first cuts. And for the Texans, they did let go of 5 players. They released Chad Beebe, wide receiver, rookie, not rookie. I think he's a second-year player. Chad Beebe, they released him. Jordan Jenkins, the veteran. He was on PUP the whole time, and he was dealing with a calf injury. So they went ahead and released him, and so he can sign with the team whenever he's healthy. They released Harrison Elliott, the backup reserve long snapper. I guess they signed to give John Weeks some rest days during camp. And then they released the running back they just signed, BJ Emmons. I guess he didn't really show much in practice. I guess he, kind of put a sour taste in their mouth. So he's gone. And unfortunately, Damian Daniels is released as well, the rookie undrafted defensive tackle from Nebraska. He was one of our camp guys that, to be watching out, our undrafted free agents to watch out for. But he unfortunately got hit with the first round of the cuts. So, hopefully he can bring him back on practice squad or something like that. Or hopefully he'll find a home somewhere. Moving on, Lovie Smith spoke to the press today and, had talked about a few various things. He's been kind of hush-hush on who's playing, who's not playing, but he did let everyone know that Derek Stingley will be starting week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts. So, didn't let anybody know if he was going to play, but in his previous interview, he said Derek Stingley does need to play in the preseason, and if he's playing week 1, it kind of leads you to believe he's going to play some, this game. So hopefully the Texan fans get a treat with Derek Stingley playing. And also in the interview, he disclosed that Kenyon Green was dealing with a concussion. Contrary to what everybody was thinking, it was a knee issue. So, hopefully Kenyon Green more than likely won't play this upcoming preseason game. Hopefully he can get some kind of action in before week 1, and hopefully he's there, as our starting left guard week 1. But that is the news of the day for the Houston Texans. Let's move straight into this preseason game, week 2 against the Los Angeles Rams. This is the quote unquote dress rehearsal game for most veterans, most starters. This is, the game where you see a lot of players play. So hopefully the veterans that were out, the Jerry Hughes, the Christian Kirksey's, the Brandon Cooks, Davis Mills plays a little bit longer. What are you guys' expectations on the offensive side of the ball as far as like who's playing?
Go ahead, Jules.
We really got to see Mills and offense do more than 2 series, because they looked just bad. I know Thompson didn't play, the veterans didn't play, Britt didn't play, but just the way the offense looked going forward, that they didn't complete a pass more than 5 yards. It just didn't look like they were gelled, and it looked like they had any chemistry going forward. It just didn't look like it was a sharp. And that's the first time that the Texans fans got to look at the Texans offense. And there's no way you come out there looking like, oh man, we got something. I mean, I know I know it's preseason. It's going to be real vanilla and bland, but it didn't look like they had any connection with each other. And if you go to the training camp, you see and those even bland practices too, but you see them completing passes, they're run to catch and all that stuff. But when it came to live action against somebody other than what your defense knows what you're going to play, they looked like they were out of sorts.
Yeah, I agree, Jules. I think really we can't see what we saw preseason game one again, right? In game two, you're always looking to get better. You want something to be better, right? We have to do something better prior to damn regular season game one, right? So, it's a combination of things, right? Like I want to see them put Mills in a place to be successful, first of all, allow him to open it up just a little bit more while also keeping him safe, right? Obviously. But
Mhm.
also, like, I can't see the incompetence on the offensive line to not pick up just
Yeah.
what was it, like an A gap blitz blatantly, like they were just, it was so obvious that they were doing that, right? And
Mhm.
it just got completely whiffed, right? I don't want to see that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's fix a little bit of that stuff, okay? But really, the the I've been saying this in the spaces and I've been saying this in the group and stuff like that, but the position throughout the game, not even just looking at the first unit, that needs attention is the tight end position. There's not a bona fide starter or someone you go, that's our every down tight end. Like that's our guy right there. How putrid does tight end by committee sound to you guys? You know what I'm saying? That sounds like some bullshit, right? So, do we have someone who's worth a damn? Like, I understand Brevin Jordan made a bunch of bonehead mistakes, but is that going to be his identity now? We've seen it with people like Sharping, where they have an insanely good rookie year. It looks so promising. And then year two, Sharping kind of shit the bed and kind of hasn't really recovered from it, right? So I'm hoping Brevin doesn't repeat history there. But, the tight end position is really what I'm watching. Would love to see Damian Pierce build off of what he did game one. And I think we have some promising young receivers.
Mhm. And to piggyback on what both of you guys said, I do want to see more from Davis Mills. I do want to see him in more game like action, other than kind of the simplified playbook the watered down playbook that Pep gave. I want to see the playbook Pep gave to Jeff Driscoll. I want to see that playbook. I want to see, even, and I feel like that's a toned down version of what Pep is planning on doing. And I feel like you can still, kind of vanilla your offense and still push the ball down the field. Um, I want to see better offensive line combinations. I want to see, if Justin Britt doesn't play, I need to see at least somebody other than McCray playing guard. Let me get Max Sharping, let him get his turn in. It makes me kind of nervous because you see AJ Cann, who's supposed to be one of your prize signings in all season. He didn't play well either. So I need to see more of a cohesive unit and a better look from the offensive line. Hopefully Laramie Tunsil, gets out there and trots out there, even if he doesn't play but a series or two. I need to see him, against that starting defensive line of the Rams, because to me that's an upgrade level. What the Rams are going to put on the field on Friday is upgraded tremendously of what the hell the Saints put out there on last Saturday. Also, I want to see the receivers kind of repeat performance. I need to see Jalen Camp. I need to see Johnny Johnson repeat those performances and strive to, make the roster. What are they doing? They've been showing out in camp. They've been highlights, from the B reporters and showing those highlight clips and everything. And they got on the field and produced. Are they?
But also, I think this is a great opportunity to have them play earlier in the game.
Right.
Let those two guys get some reps with Mills.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, speaking of reps, Nico Collins, where have
Right.
you've been staying after practice every day? You've been making it a point to work with Andre Johnson. You've been the highlight of all the highlight clips of Texans media, Texans Twitter, Texans social media. You've been the main receiver. You and Brandon Cooks. I need to see you do something in this game. I need to see you show that you can separate. I need you to produce something, as far as that. That's what I'm expecting. Hopefully, I think, and when you look at all in all, I look at Davis Mills in the first unit. Hopefully, they play into the second quarter. I would prefer them play the full first half.
Right.
Turn it over to Kyle Allen. And honestly, I would let Kyle Allen run it all the way until the fourth quarter, middle fourth quarter, towards the end of the fourth quarter, then let Jeff Driscoll have at the end. Kyle Allen get some reps that he missed, out. I want to see him work with the twos and the threes. And then, we can go.
That might pop off, man.
Yeah, if that, if Kyle Allen playing, we may see a little bit more than what we saw with Jeff Driscoll.
That is a football thrower.
Yeah, because
Driscoll. Not what Driscoll is.
Yeah,
because Driscoll's missing wide open dump trucks.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I thought the ball was gonna come hit me. So
Yeah. Oh, just to piggyback on y'all saying earlier about Can is actually our number one free agent. If I know he's not a big name or big money, but for us, he targeted a right guard, and that's the guy he wanted. So that was promising. And then if you can, with Brevin Jordan has always been compared to Kyle Pitts. They're not the same size, but they have the same explosion. And you hear Kyle Pitts' name everywhere, like, oh, he's making strides, he's catching balls here, but you don't hear that about Brevin Jordan. He's solid, but you don't hear that he's taking the next step. So what is he not? We heard about the diet plan. He stopped eating fast food, but that's fine. But if you're not making the plays that they be played, and then you play up into the third quarter, does your coaches have confidence in you that you're supposed to be this button star, but you're playing late into the third quarter?
I mean, shit, if the fast food was the big change, go back to eating fast food. You were making damn plays last year, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then with the rep situation, and like I said, I know it's all injuries and it's all precautions and this is just your start and everything, but there's not many people on this roster that you can actually limit reps to see where we at going forward.
Yeah.
And I know that the Davis Mills people love to say, well, he's our starter, but the cat still needs reps. He needs to see what we got. He didn't get much reps last year. He has all the first QB starters this offseason. Let's see what he got, and he has to play. If he get, I don't want him to get hurt, but you have to know what you got in this cat. You have to give him everything to see, because you're gonna make a judgment on this cat somewhere in October, November if you're looking at quarterbacks going next year. So you have to see what you got. I don't want him to go out there and doing 7-foot drops and he's holding the ball too long, he get hit.
Yeah.
But slant routes, curl routes, something that's quick and fast and big pops every now and then. That's when you can evaluate this cat and see what you got. And this no respect to all the Mills lovers, and I'm not trying to argue that I don't like Mills, but you still have to evaluate this cat and see what he got. So no one on this roster besides Tunsil is bona fide to say you don't got to practice, you ain't got to come to reps, you ain't got to play preseason game. He's the only one on this team that's a bona fide star.
Yeah.
And I agree. And my thing is you can't bubble wrap these players, man, and pray to God, because I said this before. If Mills came out there and you say, don't play Mills, don't do this, don't put him in harm's way, then he comes out week 1 and looks like ass, then everybody's like, oh, why he should have played a little bit more in the preseason, or he should have done this in the preseason. And it's revisionist history when y'all didn't want him to play in the first thing. But moving on, let's talk about the defense, man. Let's talk about, to me, what I think is going to get the Texans through the season. What I think is going to be the highlight of the Texans, regardless of what everybody wants, and what they call them Millsites, regardless of what they say, the prize of this Texans team is the defense, man. The players that they have and the players that are potentially going to be cut from this team is really surprising to me, and it kind of shows that even Nick Caserio or Lovey's eyes, they're more eyes or focused on or better evaluators of defensive talent over offensive talent. And I feel like you can tell by the signings that they've made that players, like Double O, who came in, and kind of was an afterthought signing. I mean, we signed him and we knew he was a local kid, but he was kind of an afterthought signing compared to every other defensive player we signed or drafted and everything like that. He was down the list. Then I'm looking at him. I'm looking at them bringing back Derek Rivers, who had a hell of a game. The undrafted free agents, Kurt Heinisch, the defensive tackle who played, it's so many names you can list. Blake Cashman, the guy they traded for with the Jets. It's just name after name after name. Braylon Arnold, guy who came in the second half and played his ass off and called, in that game. It's just you can just name players after players. So I'm really excited to see the defense more than anything and see what they
Hey, we are clipping that. We are clipping that. We're clipping that. Okay. We're clipping that.
Just name after name, man. What are y'all expectations for this defense, in this game against the Rams, who I think Matthew Stafford is going to play this game, and just to see what that offense is going to do, even though they're going to be missing their two starting running backs. Cam Akers, and the backup running back are both out.
The rookie, right? When they signed the rookie? Yeah.
Yeah. Both of those guys are out. So they're going to be, kind of shorthanded on the running back scene, but expect their offensive line to play. Expect, even Matthew Stafford to get a few in, and to see that receiving core that they have with Jefferson and, all those other guys that they have on their receiving core playing, and seeing what they, how we going to hold up, So what are y'all expectations? Who are y'all most excited to see in this game, and what are y'all expectations as far as the ones, how long the ones are playing and going forward?
Go ahead, Jules.
Well, as my sign says, Cashman was my eye opener guy, and I think Wallow's coming back this game, and he has to show that all the reps and all the ink that's been pressed about him, everybody is raving about this cat. But if you watch Cashman play last Saturday, you seen what linebackers you want on your squad. You want him to affect the passing game and the running game, the coverages. You don't even look your way because he can recover, he can bring up passes, and that's what you need because this linebacker crew is I'm not gonna say old, but they're not they're not. There's no star power. There's all other veterans who've been around the league for a minute, or up and coming guys, or guys you took shots at 6th-round picks, trade up for them. Harris is not playing, so that linebacker crew is something that you really have to evaluate. And Wello is the guy that everybody's talking about. So Cashman showed you what kind of linebacker you're going to play. The D line, of course, they're not having their running backs, but they still have to hold up to their O line and see if they can get the pressure. Because if you go to the game, they didn't get much pressure. The first string defense, we know the big guys didn't play, but even against their second string, we didn't get a lot of pressure into the third quarter. And you have to at least affect the quarterback play, doing something kind of pressure, get them off his spots a little bit, make them look uncomfortable. If you can't get to them, let's make them comfortable. And with the big acquisition of Allen Robinson, you lose. The Rams lose OBJ, who's still a great receiver, but you pick up a younger Allen Robinson to add to that receiving core. Your secondary is going to be tested.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a good test for Jalen Petrie going forward of how do you command your secondary to who's getting what, how Jeff Jefferson, because I think he's playing for a contract this year because he wants to be number one or number two, get big plays. So he's going to try to show out. And how you going to command your secondary to cover all these guys and just kind of defense you're going to run. So this is going to be a real good test for them. I actually like this test for them. And the Saints defense line is second to the Rams defense line. So your O-line is getting some real tests. So this would be a good time to have back-to-back tests with your New Orleans Saints defense line with Marcus Davenport. I don't know he played, but their scheme idea of pressure is going back-to-back games. So this is actually a good test for them. I actually want to see the O-line play.
What about you, Bab, on the defensive side?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm kind of hoping Stingley plays because if Stingley plays, his first NFL experience is going to be against Matthew Stafford, Allen Robinson. Is Kupp going to play?
Probably so.
Probably so. I think because this is a dress rehearsal. And to be honest, I think if Matthew Stafford and Kupp play, you're talking about them playing
2 drives.
series, yeah, 2 series and out. And they, and Allen Robinson and Van Jefferson take over after then, and then I think they're out at halftime.
Right.
But honestly, go ahead.
So I guess just my point there is like, I want to see Petrie and Stingley cover them.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do. I want Petrie and Stingley on the field as long as Matthew Stafford and company are on the field. You know what I'm saying? And then, when Matthew Stafford leaves the field, let's leave Petrie and Stingley in for another series so that we can see them like take over a football team. You know what I'm saying? Like, are they in between that tier? Are they in between a starter tier and second string tier right now, or can they play with the starters and beat backups? That's what I want to see. Right now, another thing too is, and I think you guys pointed this out in the group chat. We don't have a third outside corner. Like that third outside corner is just not on the roster. And I think if maybe they could set their pride aside with Desmond King and allow him to play on the outside some, that would be okay. I'd feel better about it because he's kind of in no man's land right now, right? That's just such a weird position for the Texans right now because I feel like they've actually brought in a lot of bodies, but for some reason we're not getting a lot of production. Tremont Smith had a kind of a fluke first game. He was in the right place at the right time on the interception, but he was so far away from his coverage. You know what I'm saying? That he made that interception that should have been Petrie's, right? And then when he got that pass breakup, don't you feel like 6 out of 10 times or something that's going to be called pass interference?
It was very handsy.
Yeah, it was handsy, and honestly, I think it was more the receiver dropping the ball than him making a play.
Yeah. So he's a good player. His value is as a kick returner and a special teams guy, right? I hope no one thinks that Tremont Smith is going to add value as an outside corner on this team. That is that's not who he is, right? So that's already been proven game 1. I don't need to see anything in game 2 that's going to tell me, oh yeah, thank God we have this guy as an outside corner, right? The thing I want to see the most is, just to kind of backpack off what Jules said, is like, do we have something worth a damn in the linebackers that's going to add to the top of the talent? Or is everyone just in this B tier linebacker group? Is that our linebacker group? Just 6 B tier guys? You know what I'm saying? Is that just all we have? The D line, I am 0% worried about the D line. Like, we have guys that are legitimately great on the D line. You know what I'm saying? Like Malik Collins is a great pass rushing defensive tackle, right? Jonathan Grenard is a great young defensive end. Jerry Hughes is a great veteran defensive end. You know what I'm saying? Right? Everything from there, we have great depth. Okay. So like that's a great formula. The only thing that could make the D line better is if you added an elite talent, right? That's the only thing that's making it better. The depth at the linebacker position is good, but I want to see if the safety class or our safety group is consistent and they're good again this game. If they're good again this game, I feel really good about our safeties. Feel really good about it. So
kind of pick off you is like there's no outside corner, but you have hellified inside corners and you have hellified safeties, but you don't have enough on outside, which is kind of I don't know if it's a tale of what Lovey's trying to do or what Nick is trying to do, what Nick is trying to build defense. But you have so many inside corners and so many safeties, as you're trying to figure out what they're trying to do with it.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to crowd that line of scrimmage with those guys. I think they know that the Tavier Thomas, the Desmond King, the Jalen Petries, even MJ Stewart, all of these guys are great in short area and on the line of scrimmage. That's where they thrive at. And I think that they're confident in Steven Nelson and Derek Stingley, but you have to have a backup plan. You have to have some reserves, you have to have somebody Isaac Yiadom, who came in, who started last game. I mean, to me, he's just a guy. Fabian Moreau looked horrible.
I thought he probably would have been on the first cuts.
Right.
I thought he was going too.
Yeah, and then Kendall Sheffield. I mean, didn't even see him play Saturday. Is he going to be somebody that can come in and maybe give you some kind of something as a reserve? It kind of makes you think. Are they going to pull a Bill O'Brien and put Eric Murray out there corner or something? Like like they did before. Like, are they gonna pull one of these stunts where you take a MJ Stewart and say, yeah, you're good, but we're gonna put you at corner, or you take, like just do some foolishness. But I think that they're kind of waiting on the waiver wire.
Mm-hmm.
I think you may see a trade or two, especially for the depth of this team. So don't be surprised. But for me, this has to be a show for the Fabian Moreaus, the Isaac Giddems, the Kendall Sheffields, these guys that are rotating in and out, that are playing these corners. You need to see them kind of show something to even have a chance to make this second round cut, which is next Tuesday, which is a week from now. That and bold prediction, my bold prediction, Derek Stingley is going to play at least the first quarter.
Can I have a bold prediction real quick?
Go ahead.
Blacklock will be fucking unemployed by the regular season. Listen. I don't think there's ever been. Man, y'all tell me if y'all have one that comes to mind. A Texan player where I'm just like, maybe damn what's his name? Maybe damn the really bad quarterback we had, 17.
Brock Osweiler? Yeah, Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, right. Osweiler. Maybe Osweiler was more frustrating, but in second place, it's definitely Ross Blacklock. Because what man, okay, shit. On that so there was a play. I don't even remember what else happened in the play. Something else significant happened. And I just remember that the announcers and everyone else was like stoked on something that was happening during the play. And I'm sitting there watching Blacklock getting thrown around like damn Daffy Duck or some shit on a cartoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just see and he's huge. He's huge compared to some of the offensive guards and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And he's just fucking tumbleweeding across the damn logo on the field. And I'm just like, bro, do you know how shitty you gotta be positioned to get thrown like that by someone who's your same size? You know what I'm saying?
So bro, I give one player. There's on one player I can call you worse than that was Xavier.
Xavier Su'a-Filo?
That was the only one.
Oh,
that was the only one that you just because you knew that you had a quarterback on the market. There was some good. You had your first pick in your second round, and watch this cat get dominated on every level. Is just as bad as Blacklock.
Yeah, you could have got Derek Carr. Derek Carr, you would have had Derek Carr right now. He would have been the quarterback, and that to me that would have been an A+ draft. You get a quarterback, and you get Jadeveon Clowney with the #1 pick. That would have been.
And then we would have had Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
right. And so going back Blacklock, the players that we passed up for a fringe player, and this is what it was. He was always a fringe player because he wasn't big enough to be on a four-man front, and his technique wasn't strong enough to be on a 3-man front. So what they saw out of Blacklock was tremendous to me. And then he just never. I don't know if J.J. Watt killed his confidence. I don't know if the team switching from offense, different scheme. He just doesn't he has confidence in his game, or he can actually play the game.
So Jules, let me say this about Ross. Let me go down my diatribe to Ross Blacklock. They drafted Ross Blacklock and they played a 3-3-5 in TCU. That's the scheme that they run in TCU was a 3-3-5. Played the 5 technique in the 3-3-5. They brought him in and he was a tweener. It was like, can he play DN in the 3-4? Or can he play, nose tackle? What can he do? They played him all over the place. Couldn't play anywhere. He was a tweener then. Then when they switched to 4-3, he was a tweener in the 4-3. He's a tweener now. They don't know if he's a nose tackle or if he's a 3-tech. They play him around, they move him around, and they tried. He still wasn't able to show anything. He got outplayed by a 6th-round rookie.
Right.
Outplayed him.
He got outplayed by a goddamn undrafted free agent last game.
And so
and they brought Heinisch in and played him nearly all fucking game. And
yeah,
and
Heinisch came in and Heinisch came in and replaced him. For me, it's the draft position that he was drafted at.
2nd round.
And the excuses that he's been given.
Yeah.
Every step along the way. And then these beat reporters in that come in and say, oh, Ross Blacklock did this in practice and did this and this and that. And then even last year, they were saying Ross Blacklock has looked damn good in practice and he's doing this and that. Then you turn on the game film and he does absolutely nothing. He's just like a body. And it is frustrating because you spent this draft capital. You go down this, wormhole with him. And it's baffling to me because Lonnie Johnson was a high 2nd-round pick. And Lonnie Johnson got crucified by Texans Twitter, by 610 radio, by everybody. Lonnie Johnson, everybody in Houston hates Lonnie Johnson. Hates Lonnie Johnson because Lonnie Johnson was a 2nd-round pick and was supposed to be a second corner for us and solidify that corner position, and he never lived up to his billing. He couldn't see the field. Now you see the same thing with Ross Blacklock. A year later, after Lonnie is drafted, you draft Ross Blacklock, and he does the same exact thing. He has the same trajectory as Lonnie Johnson, and you find 5 million excuses on why he still needs to be on the team. The last excuse is you don't have any depth, so he has to be on the team. To me, that's not a testament that Ross Blacklock is a player. That's a testament that you don't have any depth and you have to keep him on the roster because there's nobody that's a veteran that can supplant him right now. The way Kurt Heinisch played, I wouldn't be surprised if they say we're going to roll with Kurt Heinisch and Thomas Booker as our backup DTs and bye-bye Blacklock. Just their first preseason game. Ross Blacklock is going to get even more run this preseason game.
And
it's nothing.
They're gonna run fucking they're gonna use a fucking guard as like a fullback basically and run Ross Blacklock into the goddamn end zone, and the running back's just gonna be holding the ball. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so he's a fucking highway for a running back, dude.
And I understand that he's a local kid.
That's the point.
People that I know that that's the heartstring of Houston. They love players coming home, and this and that.
Thank God he's from Houston.
Yeah. And my thing is, if he can't play, he can't play. But damn, if he played ball in the NRG practice field, that's where he played his high school football. Like that don't make me no difference. If you can't play, you can't play. I need us to find some replacements. And if they feel like Kurt Heinisch and Thomas Booker are not ready to kind of take on those roles as the pseudo backup defensive tackles, I know they're gonna move Rasheem Green inside so he's gonna take up some reps of that defensive tackle, that 3-tech defensive tackle. So
and Dwumfor looked pretty good.
And I was getting to Dwumfor.
Okay, sorry.
Dwumfor is somebody that they were really excited about last year, and Dwumfor took reps away from Ross Blacklock last year.
In the regular season.
Season last year. You had Dwumfor and freaking Roy Lopez take reps away, and Dwumfor was undrafted.
Yeah.
And Roy Lopez was a 6th-round pick. Here you are as a 2nd-round pick and cannot see the field behind these two guys. That is a problem. I don't want to. And people always want to say, well, look what he did in practice. And it baffles me because you have those same people that say, well, look what this person said he did in practice and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. and doesn't want to touch when Davis Mills has a bad game in practice, or doesn't want to say anything like that about that in practice. But you want to take what somebody says about Ross Blacklock in practice. I don't give a damn about practice. What I care about is what you do on the field.
I give you one better. How many defensive tackles have been drafted or signed, whether it was free agent signing or undrafted signing since Blacklock got here? I can count at least 6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right.
And this is from your second round pick that you have gotten almost every year since he's been here. They have gotten an extra D tackle, not just for depth, but for starters. He made it even a pusher.
Yeah.
And he has not risen to a level of competition when you say he's been outplayed by undrafted rookies. He's been outdrafted by the Mexican sensation Ro Lopez, who dropped weight and is still outplaying this cat.
Yeah. I mean, look at they brought in Malik Collins. First of all, not Roy Lopez. Ross Blacklock was your second round pick. And look who they brought in at defensive tackle last year. Just last year. Taylor, Jaleel Johnson, Malik Collins, Roy Lopez. All of these guys saw significant time during the season. Dwan Ford. They brought 5 defensive tackles last year throughout from preseason to throughout the year. And you didn't solidify yourself at all. You were almost another, and it's almost like they have to keep you because they're paying you so much as a second round pick. And to cut you, it costs more to cut you than it is to keep you.
Right. And this is why we have to realize what we had. We have in Nick and Levy, and the strategy they go to getting players from what we had before. Of, well, he was the best player on that board. We know where to play him, but he's just good value, and you never put him into position to succeed because maybe he'd been a good player somewhere else, but for the Texans scheme and what they were doing, it didn't match up. So. Yeah. And you can see the guys that they're drafting now, like Booker, even Mechie was a system fit or a reason why you won this cat on your team. You can see why they wanted Petrie. You see what they did scouting, they did research, and they see what he could do, and they're getting and they put him in a position to be what it is. Because everybody kept saying I'm using very very loosely that Troy Polamalu type, that he can be this, and you saw hints of it. Of course, it was preseason. But you see he has that talent for it, and you see they're protecting him by getting a bona fide corner so he can step up. They just need to have better linebackers going forward to let him be more of a roamer.
Hey, who is drafted 1 pick after Ross Blacklock?
Oh, Jonathan Taylor.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Everybody
Jonathan
Taylor all day, every day, and that to me that alone should have got his ass cut. But. So I just want to see competent play. I don't want to see practice highlights. Same thing with, like I said, with Nico Collins earlier when I was talking about the offense. Nico's been the prime of the Texans media with the catches, and they've been highlighting him, and beat reporters have been highlighting him after practice, working on script. I got to see something. I need to see something from Nico Collins. You've been the highlight. They've been talking about you like crazy. I need to see it on the field. They talk about you like crazy, Ross Blacklock, in practice. I need to see it on the field. Because if you come out here against the LA Rams and you do what the hell you did against the Saints, you might as well go ahead and say, I'm gone, and chunk deuce and go to your mama house around the corner after that game on your flight home and say, Mama, I tried, and move on.
All right. There's one more person I want to put on blast. And it's not gonna be a player. Pep Hamilton's on blast for me this next game because of what he called. I don't know if because he was limited because there was no backup, 2 Mills or 2 tight end Driscoll. I don't know what was the idea of him, Lovey, when they scripted the first 15 plays. We're gonna make it easy for Mills. Whatever it was, it did not work. It looked horrible. And it's your offensive scheme.
Yeah, and
So
it was the combination that they put out there at offensive line that didn't help either.
right,
Justin McCray, all training camp, everything, he's been the backup center.
right.
And Max Sharpen has been the guard that replaced Kenyon Green. Do the Texans do on this first drive with Davis Mills? You try Justin McCray out at guard. You put Quisenberry at center, who's the tiniest offensive lineman you have on your roster. It's just noticeably how small he is. You put him there, and you put Justin McCray at guard when he's a backup center. You put him at guard, and Max Sharpen doesn't play to the second quarter. And you sit up and you have these guys come in and you expect for them to do something. First play of the game, Justin McCray and Quisenberry get blown the fuck up, and Marlon Mack gets hit for a 3-yard loss in the first play of the game. That right there is you right. Put it on Pep, put it on Warhop, put it on all of them for their first few series that they put out there. Even the play calling with Jeff Driscoll,
Right.
what are you going to do? Is this, is this something you just trying to get your feet wet? Because if this is something we're going to expect in the future, I thought we were past those wide receiver screens, those quick wide receiver screens. I thought we were done with the run on first down, run on second down. I thought we were done with all of that type of play calling, so hopefully, you know, Pep Hamilton steps his game up. That's something that I feel like, good point, Jules, that Pep Hamilton, that's somebody we need to watch. What is he doing on this offensive side of the football? Lovey, how are you going to, manage the game? Is he going to continue with that great clock management like he did, and game management as far as like positioning your team to win the game and positioning your team to be able to score points? Are you able to do that? And one thing we haven't talked about, and I think this is the final point, nail on the coffin. Let's see these turnovers. Is this a trend? Are we going to get, we got 3 turnovers that last game. Are we going to repeat the effort? Even if you get one or something, are we going to attack the football and make something happen?
Right.
That's what I want to see, and I want to see it as a trend. And I want that to be the identity of the team, and I feel like, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I feel like the defense is what is going to get the Texans through this season. And if you're able to be top 5 or whatever the hell you was top of the league in turnovers last year, if you're able to repeat that with even a smidge of an offensive, game plan behind Pep Hamilton, the Texans will make it through this season and will be positioned to be a better team.
Right.
So I just want to see those things. And I think we talked about it, all these different things and players. There's a list of players we say we don't want to see. I don't want to see Neville Hewitt. I despise Neville Hewitt. I don't see the purpose. I never saw the purpose of Neville Hewitt. I didn't see the purpose of him last year, and I didn't see the purpose of them re-signing him. He's somebody that needs to go, as once again, he's a practice warrior,
Lonnie's on the Titans.
Yeah, Lonnie signed with the Titans. We had a memorial service for Lonnie Johnson, on Texas Twitter yesterday.
Which was hilarious.
It was one of the greatest moments in Texas history. And we laid Lonnie to rest, and the Titans dug him up, and they brought him out the grave, and they trying to see what he about. But that's typical Tennessee Titans and Mike Vrabel. I guarantee you, one of these guys that we cut, whether it be a Janovic, whether it be a Reeves Maben,
Derek Rivers.
Yeah, Derek Rivers or Eric Murray. Don't be surprised if they sign with the Tennessee Titans. That's the MO of Mike Vrabel. I mean, they put a list of players that AJ Moore, Zach Cunningham, what's his name, the running back that they signed last year.
Deontay Foreman.
Deontay Foreman. I mean, it's just player after player after player. that just kind of gravitates to Tennessee for whatever reason, and then they end up even if they stick with Tennessee, they get lost in the shuffle and they really don't do much anyway. So, but other than that, man, I am intrigued and excited to see what is in store for this next preseason game. Any of you guys have any final thoughts on, before we head out, about this upcoming preseason game?
No, I said my piece. I think as all the players and all the stuff we talk about the preseason, the players that we know are just not good, and they're on the roster for whatever reason, why contract, years on the service, dead cap money, loyalty to players. We talked about all the players in the length, but I tell you my point was still Pep. Pep is talked about with so much reverence that he can be the next head coach in a couple of years. He had OC jobs coming up, and like I said, just what I was on the field last Saturday, from Driscoll to Mills on the field, it was just bad. The whole offense just looked bad, and they looked up and got a late touchdown. It took Giant Johnson 4 spin moves to move deep, and he was wide open. He beat a guy wide open and got an easy touchdown catch. But for 2 quarters, they ran the ball the third quarter like 18 million times, and they didn't do anything besides run the ball. So whatever that scheme was, whatever's going on, we're not in the locker room. We don't know what happened. We don't know what the plan was, but this team has to evaluate Mills and Nick Collins and his O line. Pep has to scheme this first 15 plays. He script these first 15 plays to see what we got going forward. Because if this is going to be the only game they really play to the season start, they got to show out. I don't care if it's vanilla, bland, but I want to see Mills handle this offense. I want to put in position to drive down the field. I want to see him making catches. I want to make the receivers catch the ball and run for a couple yards. I want to see him what they're capable of doing, even vanilla. So Pep is my biggest concern going forward. He has shown up against the reigning Super Bowl champion with a great defense. And of course, now we know both veterans are not going to play every game or all snaps, but the first 3 or 4 plays or scripts or even series, you're going to see what they got. And this is our best test right now if you're going to play one whole series or one game in preseason.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple, man. I just want to see the skill positions.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anything worth a damn? We know what we got. We know what we got on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Not much,
So,
but skill positions, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, final thoughts, and I'm gonna say this, and I mean with all due respect to Dameon Pierce. I think that Dameon Pierce is a good running back. If he becomes RB1, great. If he is sufficient, great. If he's good, great. If he's better than average, great. But I need everybody in this Texans Twitter, and I'm gonna call y'all out. I'm gonna call y'all out like I always do. Dameon Pierce, and I need to zoom in. Dameon Pierce, not fucking Arian Foster. Don't give that lazy take. Don't give that lazy ass, I don't watch football, I just watch highlights ass take. Do that. And do not put that on Dameon Pierce. He does not deserve that. Because whenever you say that, the first thing anybody says is saying that he's not Arian Foster. Now you're anti Dameon Pierce. Now you don't believe in Dameon Pierce. No, we don't believe he's fucking Arian Foster. For those people, y'all know who I'm talking about, and for those in the back, this PSA is dedicated for you. This public service announcement is dedicated for y'all in the front and in the back that want to say he goddamn Arian Foster. And I'm telling you right now, that's a lazy take, and get the fuck on with that. And I'm saying my piece and all of that. But before we go, I'm done. But before we go, Jules, go ahead and shout out your, your Twitter, your Abby, your Instagram, and your Twitter, so people can follow you. So we can go ahead and tag you in and everything. So man, go ahead and shout out, man.
All right, so my Twitter is JeffBear80. I'm a guest every now and then for ATM podcast. I'm getting back into business. My Twitter handle is JeffBear82, and my Instagram is JeffBear82. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot more spaces going forward, and more Texas intake with the guys if they want me to come back. I know I'm a big talker on Twitter, so I'm gonna be out, put my face to my words, and just be out there and support the Texans going forward. And I'll be live from Indiana going forward, so I can be in enemy territory, give you inside scoop. I'm just like the coach for a little bit to give Nick Casario a spot on his coach.
Man, so I do appreciate you, Jules, for joining us, man. We thank you for coming in, and I know you're gonna be a frequent guest, man.
Yeah.
Everybody out there that's watching this episode, like, share, subscribe. Black On Podcast, BOP, Twitter handle Black On 713. Let's go ahead and let's get it, man. And we'll holler at y'all next episode.